Okay, you have got to be kidding me. Really? Well, hello, Glue Troopers. Max and Max's models here. And I got started on that M38A1 Jeep today. And it has, it's 1/35th scale, but it has an engine that goes together like a 1/24 scale kit. All of the stuff you would see on a regular quote unquote full size model car, this has at 1/35th scale. And it is full of teeny parts, ridiculously detailed. This is AFV, and I gotta give them credit. They didn't skimp. Some of the parts, I broke two of the little skinny ones trying to get them into place. So you might want to, boil some of the parts and the skinny stuff in warm water to, where it gets a little more flexible. I didn't think to do that. But I can't complain about the detail. The fit overall is okay, except for the exhaust system. The length seems to be a little off. I'm having everything's right where it's supposed to be, but you just have to. It just didn't quite line up right. But that's not the end of the universe, and you're not even going to see most of the stuff anyway. This is the same scale as that Tamiya SAS Jeep I just did. And in fact, I just finished that today. Well, I might tinker with it a little more, but it's basically finished. We'll take a look at that at the end of this. But Tamiya didn't bother to put an engine in it because of the tiny scale, 135. But by golly, engine, transmission, steering unit. That's another skinny piece I broke was on the steering unit. Really thin. But, alternator, fan belt, the works. It's got it all in there. So you really have to give them props for the detail of this thing. It's a little absurd. If you really want to go all hyper crazy, and wire it up and put that stuff in there at 1/35th scale, if you can pull that off, you'll probably win a few awards. You'll certainly have my respect. But overall, it's fitting pretty good. Actually, the hardest thing to put on it were these links that go on the bumper. They're I guess toe points, but they actually come in two separate pieces. You put the base plate on, which has the sides on it, and then you have to wedge the actual loop, the ring in there, and you have to squeeze the ends and push it down because it's all done to scale. And getting those in there was really, really hard. It took a good half dozen tries. I had to file them down, which is really fun at that size. I should have taken some more pictures of this with my fingers. There, you can see how small they are. But, they look good when they're done, so that's the idea. This is definitely not a beginner's kit. And I'm doing everything first because a lot of the glue attach points are so small that you can't risk any paint intrusion. Plus, like I say, you're probably not going to see the inside of this thing anyway, so I'm just doing it as an exercise in model building. You could easily build this without the engine in there. It looked just fine. The overall fit is okay. The body parts needed a little tweaking and twisting, and some of the instructions could maybe be a little clearer, but nothing can't handle. But definitely a lot of fiddly little parts, and it's starting to look a little bit like a Jeep now. And it'd be good practice when I do that 1/16 scale. In fact, when I do that 1/16 scale Tacoma Jeep, that's probably gonna be a walk in the park, Kazansky. Big parts that you can see what you're doing. So that's coming together. So then I go out to the Tarbis, and I got both the Gorilla Glue and the thin glue held on the tracks for the Universal carrier, the Bren Gun carrier, and I started finishing off that Tamiya SAS Jeep. Really sure I probably should go ahead and touch up a little things. By the way, kind of goes without saying, the instructions tell you how to, the order to put it in, but I would not try to mount any of the guns until you're completely done with the Jeep, because they both have exposed mounts, and I had a little breakage doing it by the instructions that I had to fix. But anyway, it's a neat looking little vehicle, and it's Tamiya. What do you expect? So my little fellas there are ready to go off and start raising heck across the desert. I also decided to start playing with that homemade fake Zimmerman on the Panther. And this is just me having some fun with it. I didn't get too into the weeds with it. I could always go back and rescribe it if I want to, but I'm just wanted to see how it would look. I put a couple of different paints on it. First, I had to be careful. Obviously, one of the problems was I plugged some of the mounting holes for a few things I had to go in and drill out. But I'm going to go ahead and finish the tank off. I play with a couple of paint colors just to see how my little fake Zimmerman would look, and it's going to be fine up on the shelf with the other German tanks. This isn't something that I'm going to be entering into any contest or anything, and I've enjoyed the build. Yeah, it's a good kit. Some folks have told me there's some issues with it. Certain things are off on it. The turret. Some folks said the turret's the wrong size. As you can tell, I I kind of lost away a couple of times trying to move, and I was using an X-Acto knife blade, and you kind of like, whoa, that went off track. So, but I can always replaster it and straighten it out. But maybe later. I'm just playing around, having some fun with it, and. The JS2, those glue-on track links are actually trickier to work with than I'd expected. I had a little trouble on the KV2, but this one I've had to redo several times to get everything just in the right place. And so I'm actually, now that I've been building some more armor, I'm actually having less trouble with the vinyl tracks than I am with the plastic tracks. They went together better on the KV2 because I went ahead and glued them on plastic and then painted it afterwards. And obviously having paint already on the tracks and everything is slowing up the process. But still, just a relaxing day playing around in the Tarbison here in the office. And that's what I did today. I got things to do tomorrow. I don't know if I will, how much model building I get done or any content. Got to go over to Hurricane Hobbies and pick up some models to take over to Pam's Con. So that's where we're at for today. Maybe I get some content out tomorrow. Guys, take care of yourselves. And as always, model on.